What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today. Shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Let's get into it. Okay, it's the 18th day of February, and here we are sitting at about $560, still consolidating here. And I keep going back and forth on this idea. Are we going to pull back and find support here? I was looking at the charts last night, about like 7 hours ago. I didn't get much sleep last night. I got like 5 hours of sleep, but about 7 hours ago, I was looking at the charts, and there's definitely a chance where we do not touch these levels, where we do from here break out and move higher. I mean, more or less, I feel like what we're doing here is the same stuff that we were doing back here, where we moved up, we stair stepped, we moved up, we stair stepped. Here we moved down a little bit, but we still moved up, right? We stair stepped and then continued to move up, like this slow methodical movement. The readings that we're getting here are very reminiscent of some of the stuff that we saw back here. So we're just not getting a whole lot of volume, which is one thing I think that's a point of concern a little bit, but it doesn't really matter. We really don't need volume until we break below like these levels or break above these levels here. We don't really need volume until then. Sure, it's going to happen. Sure, it'll be nice whenever it comes, or not nice when it comes, however it goes. But I think it only really matters when we're breaking above these levels or breaking below these levels here. Um, and yes, I chose these levels, not the low itself, because that's the closing low and this wicking low here. There's also a bunch of low points here. I don't think we have to wait for this low to break to get bearish, right? We could start freaking the heck out once we're below 470, if that happens. I doubt that happens. Anyways, let's look at the short-term stuff. We'll zoom back out. I'm going to try to keep this video a little bit more down to earth with the TA. I tried to explain a thought yesterday, and I feel like I just came across as like a madman. And and obviously I am a madman, but I was trying to get this point across, and I have a real way of getting distracted and going off the trail of thought that I'm trying to get to, because I'll address all the little paths to paint the full picture, kind of like what I'm doing now. Let's get into the TA. Let's get into the TA and go from there. Okay, 1 hour time frame, then we'll zoom out. 1 hour here. Volume is condensing a little bit. We're coming down, decaying. And typically you see this happen. You see low levels of volume when you're about to break out, right? Relatively speaking here, we were in this little channel, volume was low. That's when we broke out, but to the upside, right? Now, I mean, we're still in this area. It's not just a little channel now. Now it's more of like a horizontal channel, not this diagonal channel. And again, very low levels of volume. So I think in this context, this overall range, we should see a break one way or the other. I'm hoping it's to the upside, and I really do think we have a chance of moving to the upside here. So let's see. 1 hour RSI. It's very neutral. The price action is neutral and choppy, so we're not really going to get a lot of help. These indicators probably aren't going to be helpful at all, so we'll actually just move on to the 4 hour time frame. I was just seeing if I could see anything here, but not really. Not really anything to point out. I mean, things, for what it's worth, right now on all these indicators look like they're at a point to bounce. But does that mean anything? Because when they look like they're at a point to bounce here, cool. You went from 550 to 570. That's great. I wouldn't be upset if we went from 560 to 580, but still I'm not really getting out of bed for that, right? Like, cool, oh, we might move up, but then maybe we move down. Maybe that's a double top. I don't know. Maybe we move up and it's a lower high overall, and then we still move down. Right now, sure, they look good, but what does that mean? It's the 1 hour time frame. It doesn't mean much. So let's move on. 4 hour time frame here. Again, a little bit less choppy and sideways. Still some neutrality here, but we've at least got this movement and this shift here. I like the 4 hour RSI. This is what was really giving me the vibe that we could be moving up. Because I don't know if I had it right originally. I took it from this point, and I was looking at it through the lens of, okay, we found a higher low here, but then we didn't touch the line here. So here we are, finding a higher low here, and I was thinking maybe we didn't need to touch this line, but here we are now touching this line right here. Maybe this was not the point at which this new trajectory started. Maybe this was the point. And we're right at that point now. If it breaks, okay, then we do have somewhat of a verifiable bearish dynamic going on. Maybe not overall. Maybe there's still an argument to be made for this point here. and there still could be, but at least a little bit more bearish to where we might break out of this to the downside. And again, the idea that we find support somewhere in this area or thereabouts, 540, 535, whatever it might be, would come back on the table. Again, if we move down, I'm not expecting it to be this terrible thing. I'm not expecting lower lows. Just because I'm not expecting it doesn't mean it can't happen, but that's just my thoughts. But the RSI here, the 4-hour RSI, really does give me some hope that this could be an area of support, and that we move up right now. The stochastics are weird. I wouldn't say they're bullish. I would say, I guess they're bearish. Yeah, they're weird. But so is the price action. The MACD is bullish overall. Nothing bad to say about the MACD. But nothing, there's not really a whole lot to go off of there either. The only thing really to go off of is this point here on the RSI, which is cool because not only is it a higher low in direct trajectory with these lows here, but you're also at the 50. You also have higher lows in the price. You're at the 50, which is a perfect area to bounce from. You have higher lows in the price with lower lows in the RSI, which is hidden bullish divergence. It's a good thing. Hidden bullish divergence. We're at the 50. We're at this part in the trend line on the RSI where it would make sense to bounce, and we have low volume. We're at a breakout point in this little consolidation phase here. Are we going to break out or break to the downside? In my opinion, the charts are suggesting that we break to the upside, which would be nice. Be nice to say the least. Daily time frame. Looking at this here. Again, if anybody's having a hard time digesting this information, if you're thinking he's just bullish on Bitcoin Cash because it's his biggest bag, I'm not bullish on Bitcoin Cash because it's my biggest bag. Bitcoin Cash is my biggest bag because I'm bullish on it. And there's a difference. There's a complete difference in those two. It sounds the same, but there's a difference there. There's a difference of a point of origin as to why I think it's a good investment. You look at Bitcoin Cash and you compare it to the Mac Daddy Bitcoin itself in the crypto space. Bitcoin is still in its consolidation phase. It hasn't broken out to the upside or the downside. It's still there. We look at the average altcoin, which the others chart is a good way to represent the average altcoin. The average altcoin is still consolidating as well. It's still in this little consolidation zone. Bitcoin Cash has notably broken out. It's notably doing something different. So again, if this is hard for you to digest the idea that we break out whenever it seems as though the rest of the market's about to spill over, how could I be saying that Bitcoin's going to drop where Bitcoin Cash is going to pump? For most cryptos, that doesn't make sense. But for Bitcoin Cash, I've made that call where Bitcoin Cash pumps and Bitcoin dumps plenty of times, and it has worked out plenty of times. We've seen Bitcoin Cash dump while Bitcoin's pumped. That's worked out plenty of times too. They don't always follow each other, but for the most part, there is some correlation. But over the past year, I feel like we've seen a little bit of decorrelation happen between these two assets, and seeing this happen here, where we are notably breaking away from our low zone, I think that's pretty special, and that might promote some pretty special price action. We really might see. Wouldn't it be crazy? You know what I think would be really, really crazy here is if we saw Bitcoin Cash pumping while the rest of the market did the others chart move down and Bitcoin move down too. I think it'd be really special, because what that would imply, you guys, is that Bitcoin Cash dominance is going up. If Bitcoin Cash dominance is going up and other cryptos and US dollar pairs are going down, what does that mean? Think logically. And for a lot of the Bitcoin Cash faithful, you already know what it means. What it means is people are selling their altcoins. People are selling their Bitcoins. People are selling their stable coins for Bitcoin Cash. Now, that doesn't mean that it's happening on a mass scale or even on a general scale, right? It might be a minor scale, but still a significant enough scale where the price is being pushed up while the rest of the market is not. And if dominance is going up in Bitcoin Cash, if dominance is going down in Bitcoin, if price is going up in Bitcoin Cash, if price is going down in Bitcoin and the average altcoin, the only logical explanation there is that clearly interest from the all aspects of crypto, and then interest in Bitcoin Cash, there is a flow, what's the word I want to look for? There's just a flow coming from crypto into Bitcoin Cash specifically. It would be really interesting. By the way, if we come down, Bitcoin Cash is not in a bad position. Okay, if we come down here, Bitcoin Cash is still not in a bad position. We've got a lot of wiggle room. Okay, Bitcoin comes down here, it's not in a bad position. Okay, but I don't think it's going to happen. I do accept, and I wouldn't be thrown off. I wouldn't be sad if we came down to 530, 540, somewhere in that area. I wouldn't be upset about that at all. But that's, again, it's something that I'm not thinking today. It's something that I'm reversing the call. I'm changing it. I'm thinking that we move up, not down. 1 second. Now that I've said that, we can dump. Now that I've said that, we're all going to get cheaper Bitcoin Cashes. But we'll see, guys. Again, that would be really cool to see. It'd be really cool to see. I know. I think we all know how to identify that, but I will definitely identify that if I see it happening. And I mean, we've already seen evidence of it happening. I could go over and explain the whole dynamic of dominance coming into Bitcoin Cash, of funds flowing into Bitcoin Cash from other pockets in the crypto markets. We could go over that and provide evidence to that right now. But if things go the way that I think they will over the coming weeks, it might be more obvious. It just might be more obvious. We'll see. I like the daily RSI. I don't hate it. I shouldn't say I like it. I don't hate it. I like where it is for where we are, right? Bitcoin Cash, by the way, I got distracted entirely. But this thought, going back to this, that we are just better postured than the average crypto right now. There are plenty of cryptos since the 6th day of February, or the 3rd day of February. There's plenty of cryptos that in that time have moved up a lot more. Insignificant cryptos that nobody's ever heard of before. They only hear about them now because they're pumping now. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. Most cryptos, right now, we look at the others chart. And somebody was asking too, they're like, why do you compare Bitcoin Cash to everything else? Why don't we just focus on Bitcoin Cash? We do focus on Bitcoin Cash, but in moments like this, you guys, it's, and not even just moments like this, I think it's very important to compare. If you have a thesis for a crypto, if it's like your main bag, it's very important to compare it to the rest of the market. Because why is it your main bag? If it's not outperforming the rest of the market, if it's not performing better than the average coin, why is it your main bag? It's very important to make these comparisons, and that reinforces the exact thought that I have in my mind, that Bitcoin Cash is the best crypto to have for your largest position in the crypto market. It's better than Bitcoin, better than Ethereum, better than Solana. That's been true for over a year now. It hasn't been true Bitcoin Cash's whole life. It hasn't performed the best its whole life. But we're at a very critical, pivotal moment in history for Bitcoin Cash and for crypto as a result, but we'll see. Maybe I'm just painting a story. We look at the others chart, and we look back to a few different times, okay? Back here was your high point, and that was on the 18th of September. Do I want to put it here? I want to do it like this. You know what? Let's just do both. We'll do the cross line. Right there. Your low point here in November was November 21st. Your next low point was here in December, okay? And I'm going to change the color of all these so that it's not as, it's already going to be difficult on the eyes, but we're going to change it. We're going to make it different colors. Blue will be the first one, white will be the second one, red will be the last one. I don't know. Why? Because red, white, and blue. That's why. America. Fuck yeah. Anyways, we lay these out on Bitcoin Cash now. 18th, 21st, 18th. That's kind of interesting. It's the 18th now. Let's do it for Bitcoin too, actually. 18th, 21st, 18th. Easy enough, right? Should be. That was the 18th of September, was it not? Yeah, 18th of September. We can even go for Bitcoin's October high, right? Because it's like the same thing. All coins topped off in September. Bitcoin topped off here. By the way, this is the first time that Bitcoin topped off after altcoins in a bull market. It's weird, really weird stuff, you guys. We'll do it the same way. Blue, the low in November. We'll paint you white, and then we'll do the low in December as well, which would have been here, to be fair. Then we'll make you red. And then Bitcoin Cash, I don't know how this will all look. Hopefully it doesn't look too bad. Bitcoin Cash's high was in January. Okay. We can still put it there though. Well, let's do it there. Its lows, its high from September was all the way back here. Okay. I don't know if a high from January would be fair. I mean, maybe it is. That's the high point. But the high from September, the highs that I'm trying to go off of, right? That high time. Bitcoin's at new all-time highs in October. Altcoins are pushing the highest prices they've seen in September in years. I'm going to go with this high. And then we go with the low from November. Wherever it is. We could take the low from October for Bitcoin Cash. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. We'll pretend like that's our November low. And then we'll take the low from December as well, which is all the way over here for Bitcoin Cash. And paint that red. Okay. So it's not quite the same. The high points and the low points are at different times. But the idea here is that the others chart, from their high point in September, the average altcoin is down about 48%. From Bitcoin's chart, from the high point in October, Bitcoin is down about 46%. 46% for Bitcoin, 48% for the average altcoin. We can take the high point here for Bitcoin Cash from January, okay? And it's down 18%. Let me say this again, okay? Since September, the average altcoin is down 48%. Since October, Bitcoin's down 46%. And those were their high points, okay? Bitcoin Cash's high point happened to be in January. I'm taking that high point there. We're only down 18% right now in comparison, okay? If we were to take the high from September, like the rest of the cryptos that we're doing, the average altcoins, we're only down 13%. If we were to base it off the lows from November, I'm going to delete the blue line now because we don't need that, which is the white here, we are negative. Bitcoin is down 16%. It's down 16%. Bitcoin Cash is barely down. It's down 13% from the high, not from the low, right? From the low points, it's up. From the high points, it's down 16%, 13%. Bitcoin's down from the low points, they're 16%. Altcoins, again, we'll do the same thing here. Delete the blue so there's less noise. From that same low, are down 11%. Bitcoin Cash, from the lowest point that it's seen since June of 2025, well, I guess not from the lowest point. We saw a lower low here to be fair, but from that same kind of low area, October, November timeframe, we're up 26%. Everything else is down by 10%, 11% or more. Bitcoin Cash is up 26%. And then, of course, last but not least, and I won't measure it here because I want to move on, but you can see here the December lows, let alone the lows here. Of course, we're up more, but we're up. We're above this line. Here, the average altcoin's below this line. Here, Bitcoin's below this line. The fact that Bitcoin Cash is outperforming the rest of the markets, it's doing something different. It's something to pay attention to, you guys. The daily RSI, I think, looks good. We've broken out of our downtrend. The stochastics look good. We're overbought. Maybe that being overbought is enough to where we do actually, enough to where it does demand that we cool off a little bit. Maybe we do. And even if we do, I think we can afford to pull back to 530, 540 and be fine. Still rally from there. I'm not expecting cooling off to look like this. I'd expect it to more or less look exactly like what we've been doing, just for a longer period of time. The MACD looks like it's ready to come up and cross above the zero, but again, here you can see the bullish momentum's dying off. You're going from deep green to a pale green. Maybe we consolidate a little bit further, and that's fine if we do. Bitcoin Cash to Bitcoin pair on a weekly time frame. This is what it's been doing since February of 2025. Bitcoin Cash has been in a solid uptrend versus Bitcoin since 2025. We look at others to Bitcoin. Can I just type in others BTC? Yeah, that works. That's good. We look at this same time frame since February of 2025. And I mean, it's not terrible. It's definitely not this, but it's not terrible. It's just choppy and sideways. You haven't really done much versus Bitcoin. Everything's been kind of moving down together. Looks like over the past month, Bitcoin's dropped worse than the altcoins have, is what we can see here. Just because this moves up doesn't mean that altcoins are moving up, but again, you can just see the dominance coming in here for Bitcoin Cash versus Bitcoin. Weekly RSI, stochastics, MACD, everything looks so good here. So good. The monthly MACD, you guys, this is big. This is probably the biggest thing that we've talked about, or that we will talk about, other than the actual breakout move happening in months and for the months to come. This is one of the biggest things we're going to talk about right here, is the monthly MACD. First off, in a very bearish chart, one of the more bearish charts that we also look at is this chart here. For the first time in its life, it's actually showing bullish readings, where it's not just getting somewhat of bullish momentum building for a little bit of time, no, but it's consistent. It's been since March of 2025 for a whole year. We're about to cross above the zero on the monthly MACD, which, you guys, I mean, if I'm right, this could imply then that March, I was thinking it's February, but maybe it is March. That is the month where this fantastic move up happens in the Bitcoin Cash US dollar price pair, where this fantastic breakout comes to light. I mean, we're almost there. We're almost overbought with the monthly RSI. Stochastics are basically overbought. They look good. The MACD looks good here as well. BCH BTC, guys, looks like it's ready to get frisky here. Stochastics, RSI, we closed this month here versus Bitcoin, right here or higher. The RSI is just getting overbought for the first time. This will be the first time in Bitcoin Cash's history, a life, where the monthly RSI has ever been overbought versus Bitcoin. I was going to say, typically when you get overbought, you don't do this. You don't do this, but it looks like that's all Bitcoin Cash does typically, right? Not recently, but typically. Normally, this isn't the type of behavior that you see. What I'm trying to get to is, on a monthly time frame, getting in here overbought, you typically don't just get in there and then get out. Typically. You look for some continuation, right? We look at, if we were to look at like Bitcoin, whenever it gets overbought on its monthly time frame, it doesn't just get in and get out, right? It gets in there and it stays in there most of the time. Same kind of idea here with the BCH BTC pair. I don't know, this right here, we have 10 days left in this month. This could be the signal that we need that Bitcoin might be in a bear market, BTC might be in a bear market, but Bitcoin Cash doesn't care. Something else is going on here. This is a really, really powerful signal right here, you guys. The monthly time frame on Bitcoin Cash is flashing some very powerful signals, and the most significant time frame that we talk about is the monthly time frame. The 1 hour is the least significant, 4 hours more, daily is more, weekly is more, monthly is the most. I would even say the monthly is more significant than the 6 month or the 2 month, just because we actually have more data here. Maybe once Bitcoin Cash has existed for like 50 years, the 6 month will be more relevant. But for now, the monthly I think is the most significant time frame, and we've got very powerful signals flashing here on the BCH BTC pair, on the BCH USD pair. I'm going to stop talking about it. I'm just going to end the video there, but hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'm very excited to see what happens next. The call at the moment is that from here, we will move to the upside. If that's true, the area in question should be something along the lines of about $620 to $652, something around here, if not higher. But I doubt that we break through there. Typically with the golden ratio, which this is the zone we're in right now, is the golden ratio. Typically here, on your first interaction, you do find resistance, and typically doesn't mean you have to, but typically, you pull back to the 0.5 or the 382 or somewhere in between for support, and then you move up. But there are times where you do break through the golden ratio on your first attempt. And those times, typically, you just move up right through it. Or sometimes you consolidate just like this, really close to it. It's like you're not rejecting, and then you move through it. You did find resistance, but you didn't make the pullback that you normally make, and that's fine. That's typically very bullish. So as long as we don't break down from here, I think that within the next week or two, certainly by the end of this month of February, we should be up above $620. If we come down, that's fine. That's normal. It's actually very standard to go from this area to this area and then up. So I'm not worried. As long as we're above $509, I'm not worried. And even still, I wouldn't be worried, but I don't think that we'll go down there. I got nothing else. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.